Hi everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if this is your first time watching. And you guys, it has been absolute ages. It feels like it has been years since the last time I posted or recorded a video. But it hasn't been that long, it feels very long. But we're back, and we're back with another build in the brand new world of Innisgreen that came with the Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature expansion pack. And this time we're building in the area of Adhmor. I'm probably saying that wrong, but we're building in the more like, I guess, it's not rural, it's the more like town century kind of space. It's the neighborhood that looks a little bit less like it comes from a fairy tale forest and more like it's some sort of like Europe. I believe it's inspired by I believe it's like Scottish or like Irish areas, like area, my brain. I believe it's inspired by either somewhere in Scotland or Ireland, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's very colorful, it's really cute. It kind of gives me like small fishing village vibes almost, which I absolutely love. So we are building a family home today, and as you guys could probably tell from the title, it is for a single dad or a single parent with 3 toddlers. And the reason I am building something like this is, no, I'm not trying to torture myself. Although, considering why I did it, that is debatable. But basically, I decided that I wanted to play around with one of the scenarios that we have in the game. Now, if you guys know me, if you've been on the channel for a while, you already know this. But for those of you that don't know, I'm not someone that does a whole lot of gameplay. I will do gameplay. Sometimes I will get obsessed with gameplay and won't want to do anything other than play. And I'll play for generations with a family and, you know, all of that fun stuff. I'll have like big elaborate storylines in my head and all of that stuff. I love coming up with the actual stories for Sims, which is why my save file takes me so long, because everyone needs to have a story and there needs to be history for all of the supernaturals, and it's a whole thing. But I'm not someone that does a lot of gameplay. I mainly focus on building, and sometimes I'll focus on create a sim, but not often. Usually only when I need Sims for either my personal gameplay or for my save file. That's the only times I'll ever really like spend time in create a sim. But something I haven't really done ever, I think I might have played one of them when they first came out like years ago, is the scenarios. The whole like scenario feature is just something that I have never really, it's never kind of like appealed to me. I feel like when they introduced the scenario feature, it was very much for players that were either people that, you know, they had a really hard time coming up with storylines for themselves, so they kind of needed that little bit of an extra like push or inspiration for, you know, what they want to play, or for simmers that are very new to the game. They don't really know how the game works, they don't know what you can do in all of the gameplay, all of that stuff, or people that are just a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of packs that we have, so they kind of need something to focus on like one at a time, for example. I feel like that's kind of mostly what scenarios focus on. Whereas for me, because I'm someone that does play a lot of like story driven stuff, like I play with a lot of backstory. I don't usually play with, you know, scenarios. I like playing challenges, but whenever I do play a challenge, it usually like halfway through the challenge, it kind of devolves into whatever I feel like I want to do. So it's one of those weird things, weird gray areas. But basically what I'm trying to get at is that I never play with the scenarios. I always, like, I kind of forget that they exist half of the time. I know there are quite a few new ones that have been added in the last couple of, honestly, I want to say months, but it's probably been a little bit longer than a few months. But I know there are some new ones that incorporate a lot of the newer packs and updates and things like that, but I haven't had a look at them like ever. So I am not the best person to talk about them. But anyway, I've been taking a little bit of a break from The Sims, and I felt like I wanted to do some gameplay instead of just building constantly. But I didn't want to start a new legacy or start a new family or anything like that, because I just wanted some fun, casual, you know, I can sit down for a couple of minutes, an hour or two here and there, and just play without having to worry about doing a lot of like setup. And, you know, because when you think about fun, casual gameplay, you naturally think about playing with 3 toddlers and just 1 adult sim, and trying not to cheat or like use UI cheats at all, because that's totally not like a form of torture or anything like that. I say very sarcastically. But yeah, for some weird reason, I decided I wanted to play the like single parent and 3 toddler scenario. I can't remember, there's a specific name that it has, and I cannot for the life of me remember the actual name. But it's some kind of like triplet or toddler or something in the name somewhere. It's very easy to find. It's the only triplet and toddler scenario that there is if you want to play it. But basically the whole idea is that you start off in Creator Sim with a single sim and 3 toddlers. I decided to do a single dad and 3 toddlers for no specific reason. I wanted to. I think my Creator Sim, like, throughout, like, the first randomly generated sim was a male sim, so I just went with it. But in my head, this sim is transgender, so female to male, basically. And yeah, they do have 3 toddlers, so in my head they're probably triplets because it just makes sense. And you can go with, you know, either they're the Sims' biological kids, they're adopted, they're science babies, whatever you want to go with, it doesn't really matter. I can't exactly remember what I went with. I just know that they have 3 toddlers. And that's all that I needed to know to play the challenge. So basically what I did, because I can't do anything halfway, is I decided they needed a brand new house. I didn't want to start them off in either an EA build or something from the gallery or an apartment or anything like that. So I decided, you know what? We're building a toddler house. And funnily enough, it's not something that, it's not built in a style, or an interior style, I guess I should say, that I would normally consider for a very family-oriented house. Now, as you guys could see, the outside of the house, I tried to make it fit in with the surrounding area as much as I could. You know, the house shape, the roof line, as well as even some of the like siding colors and like exterior colors. I tried to make them fit in with the rest of the buildings in this area. The buildings in this area of Adhmor are very colorful, and I tried that. I could not pull it off. Like, I just felt like mine looked a little bit weird, being all bright and neon colored, almost. So I decided to scrap that idea and go with something a little bit more neutral with some pops of color. And I like that a lot more. Now, the interior is where it gets a little bit more, I guess, different from what you might think of when you think, oh, this is a very family-friendly, like, young children live here house. It's not super colorful. There are colors, it's not like monochrome or anything like that. And I tried to make it as like child friendly or like as child proof looking as I could. So there's a lot of toys everywhere. There's, you know, I tried to not use as many like sharp and pointy like tables or, you know, furniture. Like, I tried to make it look cozy in a sense. Like, I tried to use, like, for the living room, for example, they have mismatched couches. I tried to make it look like the sim that lives here, they didn't have a designer coming in and redoing the whole thing. Yes, the whole place does match. The wallpaper, like, not wallpaper, but the paint on the walls, it very much feels like they have a color scheme that they're going for. And I felt like the sim that lives here, they probably did that on their own. Like, yes, maybe this is the house that they grew up in, so they've renovated it a little bit, because the interior is a little bit more modern, a little bit more contemporary than probably what I would associate with the exterior. Like, the exterior is a little bit more, it gives me a little bit more like traditional vibes, if that makes sense. So like older furniture, it's been here for at least like a decade and a half. Like, it's not a new house, if that makes sense. But the interior is very much like it's been renovated. Maybe the sim that lives here, they bought the house and then decided that, you know what, they're gonna redo all of the interior, and that is how we ended up with this little bit more modern, contemporary living room, kitchen. The rest of the house is kind of in that same style as well, and I really like it. I had a lot of fun with this. It's been a while since I've just sat down and built something, and before I did this, I did do another build in a completely different style, which I will be posting at some point. I'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, so this one is just, it's been a while since I've just sat down and done like a family build, and I had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun with, you know, playing around with some of the new items that we got in some kits that I haven't really played around with, like this artist kit that we got ages ago. I've barely touched it. I also obviously used a lot of the Dream Home Decorator stuff. I used quite a few things from a lot of the kits. I feel like a lot of those kit items do work very well together. And then I used a lot of things from, what was the not Enchanted by Nature. I used a few things from not For Rent. What's the latest one? Businesses and Hobbies. The one before this. Yeah, Businesses and Hobbies. I used a few things from that, and I used a lot of packs. We'll put it that way. I used a ton of different packs. Because this wasn't pack restricted. This was for my own personal gameplay, so I didn't feel the need to pack restrict myself at all. And the last couple of builds I feel like I've done, probably not I can't remember the last one that I did. The last one that I did wasn't pack restricted, but the couple of builds before that were all pack restricted with just the base game and Enchanted by Nature, because they were early access videos. So yeah, I felt like, I don't know, I wanted to play around with everything, which is also why this build took me forever to finish, because I went overboard with clutter and things like that, and just couldn't help myself, because that is what happens. So yeah, I do hop around quite a bit as well, and I did cut a few things out, like cluttering, all of that stuff, because you know what, otherwise we would have been here for over 30 minutes, and I cannot do a 30-minute voiceover. I just cannot. I know I've done them in the past, but I'm so out of practice with recording that I wanted this video to be not necessarily as short as possible, because otherwise I would have cut out a lot more stuff. I wanted it to be a manageable length, and I feel like 24-25 minutes, it's still long, but I can ramble for that long if I need to. But yeah, we're currently working on the downstairs office space, as well as the upstairs like gallery wall kind of. And the reason I said office space is because obviously when you walk in downstairs, we have an entryway. We have two archways. One of them leads to the back, where we have the kitchen, dining room, living room space. It's all one big open plan thing. And then to the left of the entryway is where I have kind of like a home art studio / office space. Now, originally I felt like maybe that would have been like the formal dining room or something, but this sim, obviously they, you know, have a dining space. They have a whole open plan in the living room area, and I felt like they probably work from home as an artist, so they do need a like artist space so that they can work from home, take care of the kids, do all of that fun stuff. I thought maybe they would be like a freelance artist, so I did give them the electronic, like the drawing tablet as well on their computer setup, but they also have the more traditional art easel and all of that stuff. So yeah, I feel like they needed a office space, but there's also toys in there. There's toys everywhere in this house, by the way. There's toys in the living room, building blocks, all of that stuff. There's toys in the office space, because I felt like when their dad, maybe when he's working, they can sit there and play with him, or like play in the room while he's working, basically. That just made sense to me, realistically speaking. If you have 3 toddlers, you're kind of gonna want to keep an eye on them, like make sure that they're not getting into anything that they're not supposed to be getting into. So yeah, having toys everywhere is probably a good idea. And now we've moved upstairs. I did end up cutting out the upstairs hallway from the end footage. Like, I didn't record me furnishing the hallway, But upstairs we have a bathroom, a like full bathroom. I believe, I can't remember if I have, yeah, I have one bathroom. So this is a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. Like I said, out of practice. But yeah, it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. And there is a laundry room downstairs. And I did put a laundry basket in, I believe, the bathroom, if I'm remembering right. So yeah, there is laundry in this. If you want to play with that, then you can. If you don't want to, just delete the laundry machines and the laundry basket and you're good to go. But yeah, so upstairs we're currently working on the main bedroom, which I absolutely love the way it turned out. It's a little bit less colorful than, the house isn't colorful necessarily, but there are pops of color everywhere. Whereas the main bedroom is a little bit more neutral. Obviously, the bed has a blue bedspread, but like the rest of it is either gray or brown or like, you know, a little bit more neutral-ish colors. And then the other 2 rooms, the way the toddlers are, there's 2 girls and then there's a boy. So they're all triplets, obviously, but I decided to split the rooms a little bit like that. So the bigger room, which we're working on right now, is actually for the girls. So they do share a room. And then the boy toddler has his own bedroom because that bedroom is a little bit smaller. It's a little bit more on the smaller side. But you can still fit regular child beds in all of the bedrooms. I did playtest that because I ended up playing the scenario. And then I ended up, obviously, you finish the scenario when you age up the toddlers. They all need to age up with, I believe it's 3 skills. Or is it, no, it's 4 skills. They need to have 4 skills at level 3 or higher. And the scenario ends when you have all 3 toddlers with those skills and they age up into a child. So that's when the scenario ends. So I ended up playing until then, and I played a little bit with them as children as well. And I ended up renovating their rooms to like fit their like bigger like twin beds and all of that stuff. So there is space for that if you want to do that. You can still have like triplets on this lot even when they're children. So the bedrooms aren't like so small that you can't fit a normal bed. Is basically what I'm trying to get at. But I did have to do a little bit of reconfiguring with the girls' beds because that little end table poof thing that I have between the beds ended up blocking the bed that's closest to the wall for some weird reason. I've noticed a lot of toddler beds, sometimes things will block them, like sometimes bedside tables and things like that will block them, and other times they won't. So it's very much a like hit or miss kind of thing. And I will make sure that the version that I upload to the gallery actually has it in a way where it works. Because I know I played around with it a little bit. I ended up removing the end table, and then I feel like I found a way to put it back, but just moving the beds around, not around, but like just moving them over slightly. It was a whole thing. It took me forever to figure out. But I did play this entire house. Obviously, like I said, I played in it for the scenario, so I playtested everything, and everything works. I feel like I used the high chair that I put down. I only put down 1 high chair because if you try to have 3 toddlers and have them all eat in a high chair every single time, your sim is going to starve themselves, because taking care of 3 toddlers, especially when they don't know how to do things like go up the stairs themselves yet or use the potty on their own, is just an absolute nightmare. Like, the first few days of this challenge was hell, trying to like manage everything with a single sim and not using cheats. Obviously, it would have been very easy if I had used UI cheats and just cheated my Sims' needs and just left it at that. But I didn't want to do that because I wanted to see how much of a challenge it would be, and my word was it difficult. When they could start, like, when they had their motor skill up high enough so that they could use the stairs on their own, and also had their potty skill high enough that they could use the potty on their own, then it started to get a little bit easier. But I feel like I used the high chair maybe once, because feeding them in a high chair just takes too long, and I only put down 1, and I I just ended up putting food out on the counter, and then they could grab the plates themselves and eat that way. It's so much easier. a little life hack for you if you want to play this challenge, or just with toddlers in general. Don't bother with the high chair. Just feed them on the floor. Like, they will be fine. Just put the food on the counter. They'll grab food. They'll go sit on the nearest chair, and it will be fine. They will survive. They don't need the high chair. I feel like the high chair is only really useful if you start with like infants and you want them to try new foods and gain milestones that way. That's the only reason I will ever use a high chair is for infants. But yeah, we've now finished with the interior. I absolutely love the way the toddlers' bedrooms turned out. I love the colors, and it's so colorful and cute. And again, why I feel like this house definitely has been renovated, because the wallpapers and wall colors on their walls I don't feel like it's something that the house would have come with, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it's something that their dad put up for them when they were born, basically. But we've moved on to the exterior and to the yard space. So there is quite a nice sized yard. So I ended up putting in a little sandbox for them, where they can build sandcastles, and there's a bunch more toys. There's also a slide in the sand pit. Did I say? Yeah, it's a sand pit. There's also a slide in there. I also put in another dollhouse, and obviously, like I said, toys and blocks and things like that. They can also play in the sand as like on its own. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to mention. And yeah, the rest of the yard space is basically just, there's a grill, there's some seating. I have a couple of planter boxes in there, and then I do put a chess table and some rocking chairs on the front patio as well. But that is basically it for this build, you guys. I will go in and I'll show you a tour of the build at the end when we're done with it. But I do just want to say quickly, before I get before I get closer to the end of this voiceover, I wanted to say sorry that I haven't uploaded in a while. Life has been very busy for me. I've been job training, and I'm starting full-time work on Monday. I'm working. So yeah, it is a lot. It's something that I've never done before, and it's a field that I've never done before. So there's a lot of like learning to do, and it's a lot of pressure, but I'm happy with it. Like, it's something that I want to do, and like, I'm learning a lot, so I do enjoy learning new stuff. So I'm enjoying that aspect of it. But it's just a lot of information. It's a lot of time. It's, you know, time that takes away from what I usually spend on YouTube and on recording and on editing. Recording is easier because it's fun. It's something I can do to unwind at the end of the day. I can go in, I can build and unwind and record, and, you know, still get that footage. But the editing is where it takes time, because editing is very tedious. If you've ever edited a video, it's tedious, it takes time, and a lot of the times I just don't have the mental energy to do it, if that makes sense. But there are a bunch of fun things coming up in the next couple of months. Really busy. That's going to have me really busy. So I am really looking forward to that. And I wanted to give you guys a heads up if videos are a little bit fewer and further in between, if that makes sense. But I am still posting, I am still recording, and I am still around on Twitter and Blue Sky and all of that stuff. But yeah, let's hop on into the game and take a look at this build. Okay, so here we are with the finished build. It's built on 1 Marie Shores Road. I believe the original lot had a starter home on it. But yeah, so this is our finished build. And as you guys can see, I did try and bring in some color with the blue and this kind of like peachy, pink, orangey color. But doing something like that bright, it wasn't in the cards for me. But yeah, so I really do love the way this house turned out. It's basic in shape, but the roof line, I feel like, gives it a little bit more of like a whimsical feel and makes it a little bit more interesting, which I really do enjoy. And yeah, we have a little carport over here on the side. And then right at the front, we have obviously a lot of like open space. There's a lot of yard space in this that you could repurpose or use for other things or add things to as you wanted. But yeah, so right in the front we have a little grill area. We have a couple of planter boxes over there in the corner. We have that sand pit that I told you guys about, where we have a slide and all of that fun stuff for the kids to enjoy. We have a little seating corner, some more planter boxes, and that is basically the whole exterior, like the yard space. I felt like these Sims probably don't spend too much time outdoors. Maybe the kids play outside quite a bit, but they don't really. I feel like the dad probably doesn't have a lot of time to spend on things other than work or taking care of his 3 little toddler gremlins. So yeah, there's not much like activity wise outside, at least that's what I'm trying to get at. We do have a chess table on the front porch and a little couple of rocking chairs. But yeah, the most of this house, most of the detail and useful stuff are on the inside. So as you come in, we obviously have a little entryway. We have a like burglar alarm, you know, thermostat. We have a fake little wall phone as well, obviously. A little seating corner, you know, umbrellas, some storage, maybe for like coats or whatever. And then we have this really, I love this ladder kind of like shelving unit that I have cluttered up. But yeah, we have that. We also have the laundry space that's right over here. Kind of nicely tucked away in the corner. Now, going back to the back of the house, we have the kind of like main living space. So you walk in, you have a little like dining room set up in the middle. We have the kitchen set up. I did playtest everything, so we have open counters for them to cook at and all of that stuff. We have a little microwave, obviously the fridge with a bunch of cute little child drawings and like stickers and magnets and things on it. I love that fridge. I also put in the parenthood board. They don't really have need for it now because they're toddlers, but when they're children, the parenthood board will have obviously gameplay tied to it that could be useful. But yeah, that's the whole kitchen space. I love the kitchen. I love it so much. But yeah, there's also a sliding glass door to the outside, obviously. But yeah, over on this side of the room, we have the big living room space. So there's obviously some, you know, artwork. I have some like birth certificates and toddler memorabilia and like handprints and things. Some of their artwork that I put up, like pretending it's their artwork. But yeah, I have some things put up. There's also a lot of toys around the place, like I said, whether they're decorative like that toy box or they're actually useful like the blocks and some of these singular toys. There's a lot of toys all over the place. They also have obviously a fake fireplace. I decided fake fireplace instead of real. Maybe they used to have a real one, but when this house was like remodeled, you know, maybe he took it out and like just added a fake one. But yeah, they have a game console, TV, all of the stuff that you would need to, you know, play games and listen to music and all of that stuff. Now, next to the entryway, we have that kind of like office art room space. So we have a little corner base seat over there. We have our Sims' desk, obviously. It's very cluttered. I went all out with the clutter, like I said, but I did put in the drawing tablet for them as well, so that they can use that. There's also obviously the more traditional art setup as well. So we have an easel, we have all of like the paints and brushes, and I did put down a little like top on the floor because I figured, you know, you just redid, you know, the flooring. Maybe they redid the wooden flooring and I don't want them to get full of paint. So we have a little top underneath that. And then again, a bunch of toys because I figured, you know, when the Sim is working in here, they might want their children where they can keep an eye on them. So there's a bunch of toys in here as well. Now, going upstairs, we have obviously a little gallery wall type thing leading upstairs. But yeah, we have a little hallway up here, landing space, just with a couch, a little bookshelf, some art, some plants, you know, very basic, just somewhere where your Sims come up to the second floor, basically. But we do have a little bathroom over here. I do have a laundry basket, toddler potty, toilet, sinks, shower tub. I did put, you know, a couple of like stencils or like art stencils and fun childlike things in here because I figured the kids kind of outnumber the parents in this household. So yeah, we have some fun like, you know, art pieces and things that would make it interesting for the toddlers. But yeah, so that's the bathroom. Then right at the front, we have the main bedroom. I have all of the Sims in bed currently because I was playtesting it and making sure it all worked again, just to be sure. But yeah, they're all in bed. So just ignore them. But yeah, so we have the main bedroom. We have a little closet space. Obviously, they have their own base seat as well. The main, like the double bed. We have bedside tables. All of the normal bedroom stuff. But I love this bedroom. Next up, we have the toddler boys bedroom. Or, you know, obviously, these toddlers, they don't need to be 2 girls and 1 boy. They can be whatever configuration you want them to be. But this is just how I played with them when I did this challenge. But yeah, so we first up have the like single toddler's bedroom, which very cluttered, but like I said, it all works. They can access all of the toys that they need and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, single toddler bedroom. And then we have the double bedroom as well. So this is what I mean. Like this thing was kind of messing with being able to get into this bed. So I had to just move everything over like a tiny bit. And it all works perfectly fine. Like I said, I replay tested it as well. So yeah, all works. But yeah, we have a little doll's house that I sized down. Still works perfectly fine. These doll houses, if you size them down, because originally they're like obscenely big. Like they're stupidly big. And I just sized it down twice and it still works perfectly fine. So yeah, just a little heads up for anyone that would like to use doll houses in their builds, but like they're too big. Just size them down. They still work. It's fine. They do have a changing table in here. And then they have a little bookshelf and some more toys and everything like that. But that is basically it for this build, you guys. I feel like this tour has been all over the place. But here is a little floor plan overview in case you wanted to see it. So we have the top floor and then the bottom floor as well. And obviously, if you download this from the gallery, you're free to change up any of the furnishing that I did. I did this specifically for my Sims, obviously. So if you want to change it, if you want to change the colors or the layout, feel free to do so. Just don't re-upload the build and say that it's your own. But other than that, go ham. Change it as much as you would like. But yeah, that is it for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, it will be up on the gallery if you want to go ahead and download it. It is custom content free, but I did not pack restrict myself at all. So I used a bunch of different packs. Sorry for that. But like I said, this was for my personal gameplay. So, you know, it does make sense. If you guys want to see more pack restricted builds, then definitely let me know what combination of packs you would like to see. Like, if you want to see 1 stuff pack, 1 game pack, 1 expansion pack, or like 2 expansion packs, or, you know, whatever configuration you would like to see. Let me know that in the comments below. I always love having more build ideas that, you know, I might not do all of them immediately, but they all get added to a list that I keep track of. So yeah, definitely feel free to let me know that in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, you know, give the video a like, do all of the fun YouTube things as well. Tray files will be up for channel members, and in 3 weeks they will be going up for everyone over on my Tumblr. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, you know, do all of the fun YouTube things. Hit the little join button next to the subscribe button if you're interested in becoming a channel member as well. Channel members do get early access to videos and behind the scenes looks and things like that as well. And it's also a really nice way of supporting the channel if that is something that you are able to do and want to do. Also, I do have a creator code if you want to use my code when you purchase any Sims pack or Sims game on the EA app or the Sims website. So either like Sims 4 packs, if you can use it for the Sims 3, you can use it for the Sims 2, and for the Sims 1 as well. It also works, I believe, on other like the My Sims games and things like that, I believe as well. So yeah, if you want to buy any Sims packs, then feel free to use my creator code at checkout, and it gives me a small percentage of the sale, which is a really great way of supporting the channel without spending any extra money than what you would already spend on like buying the game. So yeah, just a little heads up. But I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will talk to you all in my very next video. Bye everyone.